everybody, Fabulous Tresses here. Today I'm just going to show some samples of South American hair, better known as Brazilian and Peruvian hair that I can source, okay? So first we have here what will be considered actually straight hair, okay? Real hair from people does not come bone straight, but it can be. It typically does not have a lot of curl pattern or wave to it. It'll have some because that's what's natural. This is completely unprocessed, one donor, okay? This means one person, another one person, okay? The difference is that one feels a little bit coarser than the other, and it has a little bit more of a wave to it. Now, if we wet this and maybe put some foam or some form of other product, it might hold a decent enough wave that would be similar to the processed body waves that are so very popular these days, okay? But this, and let's measure it because I want to also show you how you really measure real hair. This hair is already wefted, but they can come in bulk, which means where it's not wefted in the top, okay? Another term for weft, typically in the African American community, would be considered a track, okay? But the proper term is weft, all right? And so here we are at the top of this weft, and we're gonna run this all the way down to the end, to the very, very end, and then we stop. Although that's just a little bitty bit of hair at the end, when you're ordering hair, it's gonna be stretched out and measured all the way to the very end, okay? So the very end of this, can you see, just so that you can tell I ain't lying, is 26 inches, okay? So this would be 26 inches. And if I had a scale, it would be good if we would weigh this so we would figure out what this weighs. Average wefts, or bundles as people call them, are 3.5. But this is nice. It's got a lot of fluff. It's got a lot of movement, as you can see. Okay, let's see what this one is. Now, when you order real unprocessed hair that has no chemicals or anything, all this has been washed, conditioned, hung to dry, which is kind of why it has this frizziness. This hasn't been flat ironed. There's no relaxer on it. There's nothing that has been done to this. And this comes, obviously, like I said, fairly pretty full to the end. That is my goal. Fabulous Tresses. I want to offer you quality. Quality that's not really, really thick, and then when you get to here, the rest of your 26 inches is thin as wind, okay? So this, of course, can be trimmed or however, whatever you want to do. But for the most part, all of my bundles coming in the future, especially if you have interest, will be thick to the ends, okay? So here we have another one. This one is a little bit finer, slightly finer, still has good fluff. You can kind of, again, tell the difference between the thickness of this and the thickness of that. Thick in the African American community typically means density. The proper term is density. That means how many strands per square inch on the scalp or on the head, okay? Texture comes from the individual strand. That's how we know whether it is coarse, maybe it is fine, it might be medium coarse, it might be really fine like Slavic hair or European hair. And hopefully in the future videos I'll be able to show you because I can source hair from all over the world. If you have a certain interest in a certain kind of hair from somewhere, feel free to email me and I can try to answer that question for you and see what I can find for you. But here's another, we're going to do another example of measuring, okay? Curly hair is the same way. If this was curly, we would measure from the top or from the weft all the way down, stretching the hair out as far as we can. And this ends right at about a 22 inch, okay? So I'm going to show you something else too, which is different between your more expensive or quality hair than it is of some of the more processed, inexpensive hair that you buy, okay? So here we are to the end. Can you see? All right, we're going to go all the way to the end, and then we're going to kind of shake a little bit. We're going to shake a little bit more, shake a little bit more, okay? Majority of the hair in this bundle is just about this length. That's what you want, okay? This down here is hair that's slightly shorter. probably, if we measure, there's probably about, say, 2 inch. I'm using my finger when I should be using my measuring tape. It's about, yes, about 2 inch difference. So this is probably 20 inches, okay? If you buy a bundle and you shake it and you get a whole lot of hair, and I'm pulling it out, but a whole lot of hair, a whole lot more hair, and all this is, then this is really what you paid for. You really paid for a 20 inch. You didn't really pay for a 22, okay? So things to know when you're buying hair. So that's 1, all right? Here we go, this is 2. This will be considered, believe it or not, a little coarser than this. It's a little less wavy. This again would be considered probably more of a body wave. And in the unprocessed world, this is considered straight hair. So when you order, nothing is going to look exactly the same. As you see, all 4 of those are slightly different. This one's a lot straighter, okay? It's also a little bit finer. So if you were to order 2 bundles of straight 20 to 24 inch, because when you order a 20 inch, you're going to get anywhere between a 20 and a 22. There are 2 inch differences, okay, because that's the way that they come from the donors, all right? So although this one is more of a brown than that one, we would generally try to match the colors as much as possible. You probably can't see in the light good. One is slightly browner than the other, okay? But blended together, that would still look perfectly natural. One, in my opinion, is just a little bit more of a warmer brown than this one, okay? But they're about the same. If you see, here we go, shaking again. And if you look at them, and you can kind of look, this is why I put the rubber bands at the top. So you can kind of see how we would per se match up bundles to send you. I repeat, bundles will not look exactly the same. Anything you buy that looks exactly the same is not 100% human cuticle. That means everything's running down. See how my finger, I barely just did that. My finger runs straight through, and this has no silicones or anything on it, okay? So, for example, we would probably put these 2 together if someone ordered 2 bundles of a 20 to 22 inch. That's what you would get, okay? Here we are again. This is a little darker. Let me show you how real this is, okay? Not the strands in the bundles you buy from the hair store. They have white threads and red threads. You know what those are? Those are fillers. This is real stuff. This has gray. See some of that gray in there? Different colors in there. That's how you know that's some real hair. You don't find no bundles in the hair store like that. This again is a bit of a coarser texture. I would call this more of a medium coarse to coarse Brazilian. This would be more like a medium fine Brazilian, but they're still Brazilian, meaning they would blend best with African American hair or Caucasian hair that has a little bit more of a coarser texture, okay? So this again is a little bit thicker. We'll measure this one from the left all the way down. This would be a true 20 inch. It's a true 20 inch, you see? Okay? And we can hold this up again. Now, I'm going to go back to these ends again, and then I'm not going to mention it no more because I think I've gotten the point across. See how thick that is? Almost literally all the way to the end. Okay? Now, in this bundle, it has a little bit, few hairs. There might be some that fall out, but there's not much. There's a few. There's a few. This would be like a ponytail. What ponytail do you know is the same length all the way down to the end, okay? That's the difference between single drawn and double drawn hair. I would personally still consider this double drawn hair because it is thick all the way to the end, okay? Real quick. Look at that. Do that look synthetic? Look at how that moves. And if you wanted that bone straight, you could flat iron it. And if you wanted it curly, you could wand it, you know? There's so much you can do with this. And then because it's unprocessed, you're going to shampoo it out and it's going to act like real hair. You're just going to comb it and brush it and condition it and hang it out to dry. And it's going to be perfect for your next, any form of install. You use it as a ponytail. Next time in 2 more months or 3 more months or a special occasion or a girl's trip to Miami, you're going to use this same hair. It's just kind of a quick comparison to good quality processed hair, which is absolutely fine if that is what your budget and what your desire is. And unprocessed hair, that are similar in texture, okay? This particular hair is processed light yaki virgin hair. It is processed. It is considered light yaki hair. This is actually color, the color number 1, all right? So this came from the vendor, colored black, and textured, chemically textured into light yaki. This will be similar to blown out relaxed hair or lightly straightened natural hair, okay? My niece, she had an install done. She got a frontal and she got 2 bundles, and it was like super thick. I'll have a picture of that. I don't have it right now, but I'll have a picture of that so that you can see, okay? This hair right here is the unprocessed natural version of this chemical, okay? So this has been untouched, no chemicals, anything. The only thing that I did was color it black, okay? Just so that you would understand, all right? Our third sample here is just kind of a quick comparison to good quality processed hair, which is absolutely fine if that is what your budget and what your desire is, and unprocessed hair that are similar in texture, okay? This particular hair is processed light yaki virgin hair. It is processed. It is considered light yaki hair. This is actually color, the color number 1, all right? So this came from the vendor, colored black, and textured, chemically textured into light yaki. This will be similar to blown out relaxed hair or lightly straightened natural. This hair right here is the unprocessed natural version of this chemical, okay? So this has been untouched, no chemicals, anything. The only thing that I did was color it black, okay? Just so that you would understand, all right? So this comes like that. This is just, I colored it, shampooed it, conditioned it, let it air dry. It's low luster, as you can tell. Probably if you flat ironed it, as if you would have flat ironed this, it will become a little bit shinier, okay? But this could be blow dried with a nice like medium or high heat blow dryer, and would appear straight and textured just like this chemical hair, okay? Now, the difference is that this hair is going to last you a lot longer than this hair is going to last you, okay? This hair, given that you take good care of it, shampoo it pretty good, condition it really well, maybe even condition it for 24 hours overnight, you're probably going to get a year. You're probably going to get, and I'm just giving you averages of any website you find online that sells chemically altered hair, or what they say is virgin hair. If it does not say unprocessed, it's likely not. And sometimes even when it says unprocessed, it's likely not, okay? But real unprocessed hair doesn't have, you see how this is just air dried. This is wavier over here. This is kind of wilder over here, kind of frizzy on the ends. Let me tell you another way to check out, okay? This is processed hair. And if we look on the ends real close, can you see that? Real close, maybe. Let's see if we put up here real close. You don't see no split ends. You don't see anything that looks abnormal. Yeah, it might be some different lengths, but you don't see abnormality. And here, we'll fold this up. This look wild and crazy. It's not super even. And if you look really close, I mean, I'm a professional, so I can tell there are some slight split ends on there. This is real hair, okay? Now, we have to consider this processed, if you will, because I colored it, okay? But the nature of it originally is unprocessed. And this hair, again, is going to last you a lot longer. You're going to get the same look if you can manipulate this properly. You get the same look, but you get the longevity of the really good quality hair, okay?